faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look! Up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's Superman!
Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from another world, who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Superman, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend the steel in his bare hands, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, justice, and the American way. But before we join Superman, here is an important message. Fellows and girls, have you ever seen a squadron of American bombers roaring through the air in formation? Have you seen newsreel pictures of Uncle Sam's destroyers cutting through the seas as they patrol in search of enemy subs and surface raiders? I'm sure you have. And I'll bet you were thrilled. You probably felt terribly proud, too. Well, if you've been buying war-saving stamps regularly, you have a right to be proud. Not only because those planes and those ships represent the fighting spirit of America, but because you helped to build them. Yes, sir, every time you bought a war-saving stamp, your money helped buy the labor and materials that are used to make planes and ships and equipment to knock out the Nazis and the Japs. So next time you hear some boy or girl on your block say, "Shucks, what difference can one dime make?" you tell them every dime does make a difference. It makes a big difference. Tell them, for instance, that if every boy and girl in the United States bought just one 10-cent war-saving stamp every day, it would add up to enough money to buy a lot of swift pursuit planes with which our Army and Navy forces could blast the Axis out of the air. And while you're at it, you might remind them that another way all you fellows and girls can help to win this war is to put back into circulation all the pennies and nickels you've been saving in your piggy banks and tin cans and glass jars. Because, as you know, when you put a lot of these coins away, it causes a shortage of them. And in order to make more, the Mint would have to use a lot of metals that are vital to America's war effort. Metals used to make guns and tanks and planes. So get permission tonight to break open your coin bank. Then take those coins and turn them in for war-saving stamps and bonds. In that way, you'll be doing your country a double service. Remember, a stamp a day will pave the way to victory. And now, the adventures of Superman. As you remember, Superman, in his guise of Clark Kent, together with Lois Lane, Perry White, and Jimmy Olsen, is aboard a tanker which had rammed Dr. Cameron's submarine in mid-Atlantic. Soon after boarding her, our friends discovered that although the tanker was running, there was no one aboard, except the dead captain of the vessel. In our last episode, they were shocked to find a strange person in the pilot house, an aged man dressed entirely in seaweed. The man, who appeared to be crazy, was captured by Kent, securely bound, and left there while they continued their investigation of the strange ship. Later, when our friends returned to the pilot house to question the old man... But wait, listen.
There's the man lying on the floor. The strange old man, dressed entirely in seaweed. Clark, do you really think he's the old man of the seaweed?
Well, it's fairly obvious, Lois. Also, it's apparent, according to the ship's log, that he's the man who killed the captain.
Not only killed him, but sat him at the head of the table in the dining saloon.
Seems pretty clear to me that he's the man behind this mystery. He ought to be able to tell us everything we want to know. What happened to the crew of this ship? How come it was running all by itself? And everything else we want to know.
Yes, I think he'll be able to tell us a great deal. Not moving, just lying on the floor there where we left him.
Yeah, probably passed out.
Well, we'll soon wake him up. All right, friends, snap out of it. Come on, now. What in the world?
Clark, what is it?
Oh, great heavens. I went to pick him up by the collar, and look.
Mr. Kent, you're just holding a big bunch of seaweed in your hand. There's no man there at all.
Good heavens. What I thought was a man is nothing but a pile of seaweed.
This is ghastly. Clark, we must be dreaming.
You're right, Lois. This is a dream, a horrible nightmare. I see Kent standing there holding a pile of seaweed in his hand. A pile of seaweed we thought was a man. But he's not really there. We're just out of our
Hold
mind.
on, take it easy, all of you. I am here. This is a pile of wet seaweed I'm holding in my hand, and this whole business is anything but a dream. It's true, every bit of it.
But it doesn't make sense, Mr. Kent. It doesn't add up. What's it all mean?
I don't know yet, but there must be a logical, sensible solution to it. You can depend on that.
Great heavens, Clark, you always say the same thing.
That's true, Lois, but remember, he's usually right.
But this, it's impossible. 10 minutes ago, we captured that thing you're holding in your hand, and in it we thought was a man. An old...
No, Lois. But you realize what's happened here?
Well, what do you mean, Kent?
Because we find a pile of seaweed here now, you assume that was all we had before. The reason you feel that way, we just imagined the old man was dressed in seaweed, is because you're letting the mystery of this ship get you down. Actually, we did capture a man who was dressed in this costume. Somehow, he's managed to escape while we were in the captain's cabin going over the log.
Oh, I get it. The guy comes to, unties himself, slips out of that suit of seaweed, and takes it on the lam.
Inelegantly put, Jim, but that's about it.
Oh, golly, what do we do now?
We search the ship until we find the man again. Now, Jim, you stay here. And...
Stay here? Oh, golly, no. I want to search the ship with the rest of you.
This isn't a game, Jim. It's a very serious business. I want you to stay here and keep that foghorn going. We're in a very dense fog, and there's no telling what might ram us.
Okay, I'll stay if that's the way I can help.
Lois, Mr. White, you come with me.
Well, think we dare leave Jimmy here alone, Kent? The old man of the seaweed might get to him and...
No, we'll take care of that. Now, Jim, when we leave here, I want you to lock yourself in. Lock both the doors leading to this pilot house and also the door leading into the captain's cabin. You ought to be safe enough.
Oh, don't worry about me. I can protect myself.
Good boy. All right, let's go.
I'll start that foghorn going right now.
All right, Jim. Now, lock the door, Jim.
Okay.
Hey, Kent, I suggest we split up. We can search the ship in double quick time that way.
All right, but one of us had better stay with Lois. She's no match for the old man of the seaweed in case she meets up with him.
That's so. I can handle myself pretty well, if you please, Mr. Kent. And I'm not handicapped as you are by being afraid of my own shadow.
I don't doubt it, Lois, but I still think one of us should stay with you. How about it, Chief? Suppose you and Lois search the fore part of the ship while I go aft.
All right with me, if you're not afraid to go it alone.
Well, I'm not pleased by it, but there's nothing else to be done. I'll see you later in the pilot house. If you find our man, yell out.
Yes, you too. All right, Lois, we'll tackle the crew's quarters first. Down this companionway and keep your eyes open.
Don't worry about
Easy
me,
now.
Mr. White.
And, you know, I'm so confused I hardly know which way to turn or what to do next. That portion of the captain's log that Kent read to us keeps going through my head.
Mine, too. I keep trying not to believe the part about the first mate seeing the old man of the seaweed crawl aboard out of the sea. And yet I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm sure I don't either. Here, down this corridor here.
You know, it just occurred to me, Mr. White, if the old man should happen on Dr. Cameron's assistant, Nicodemus, who's guarding the dead cats in the dining saloon, it'll frighten him half to
It
death.
certainly will. But we've no time to warn him of that now. I think the crew's quarters are just the other side of that door. Let's go in.
Dark in here, isn't it? I better snap on the light if I can find it.
Yes, I'll close the door.
Oh, here's the light switch. Well, this place seems to be deserted just like the rest of the ship.
You never can tell. You better search thoroughly. The bunks, the lockers, everything.
Don't bother.
What?
I'm standing behind
Great
you.
Scott.
Mr. White, he must have been standing behind the door when we opened it.
Yes.
Exactly, miss. Exactly.
It's the old man of the seaweed. I could never forget that face.
Look, that wicked-looking knife in his hand.
Wicked and effective. For I am an expert at throwing.
Missed me. But I felt the breeze from it, nevertheless.
Oh, look out. He's picking up a heavy wrench. He's going to come for you with that.
In which case, I'd better throw this chair.
Well, he wasn't care, but he's still coming
I've
on.
nothing to defend myself with. Oh.
Oh, you murderer. You hit him with that wrench.
I told you I was an expert at throwing. And now, miss, it's your turn.
You stay away from me. Stay away, you loathsome, disgusting. Let go. Take your hands off me. Take your hands off me.
Your turn now. I'll get rid of you just as I got rid of the captain and his crew. Down the corridor here, and then down these stairs into the engine room. There. And now, miss, no one can hear you down here, so I'll just take my hand from your mouth. You beast. Now, don't fight. It will do you no good. I'm crazy. Or so they say. So it'll do you no good to struggle. I'll bind your hands with these cords I have with me.
No.
You see, it does you no good to fight.
Oh.
Your hands are bound. And now to bind your ankles so that you can't move.
You loathsome. There.
Kick me, would you? Your ankles are tied. And now, miss, you can lie here and watch while I turn on the motor.
What are you going to do? What horrible thing are you planning?
Planning? I am no longer planning.
What do you mean?
It is already planned. The first thing I do is to throw this lever which sets the ship's motors in action.
How are you doing?
So, that does it. And now, miss, let me call your attention to the machinery. You see those huge pistons? You see them moving upward and forward and then backward and downward, like the drive wheels on a locomotive? You see them?
I see them, yes.
Well, once a man fell from that catwalk up there. Need I say what happened to him?
Those pistons driving up and down. Oh, no.
Ah, yes. You picked me. I told you you'd pay for it. And now is the time.
No, put me down. You can't do a horrible thing like this. Let go of me.
Let go of you, but not before I've thrown you. I told you I was an expert at throwing, and I'm aiming you for that spot right under the downcoming piston. And here you go.
No, my friend, here you go.
Superman?
Oh, she's fainted. Well, this gives me a chance to return to my disguise of Clark Kent.
Oh,
Just in time, too.
Superman. Clark, what are you doing here?
Well, I just came down here on a hunch, you might say. A hunch that the old man we're looking for was here, and sure enough, I find him out like a light, and you lying here in a faint.
Gracious. I guess I must have been unconscious for some time.
I guess you must have.
Clark, that man lying there. It was horrible.
What?
He was going to... Oh, I can't bear to think of it.
What do you mean?
Superman arrived just in time to knock him out and save me.
Well, lucky for you. Hey, by the way, where's Mr. White?
Mr. White? I'd forgotten about him. He's in the crew's quarters.
In the crew's quarters?
Yes, this man knocked him out with a large wrench.
We'd better get to him and
Yes.
see if he's all right. Oh, but wait a minute. First, I'll turn off these engines before we're pulled off our anchor here. Well, I'll find which one is the right lever. No, I think this is the lever here. Yeah. Now, let's see. Uh-huh. That was it, all right. Well, that does that. Come on, let's see about White.
All right, but wait a minute.
What?
What about that man lying there?
Well, you said Superman hit him, and if I remember correctly, when Superman hits them, they stay put for a time. There's no need to worry about him. Come on, let's...
Stay where you are.
What the...
Clark.
Throw up your hands and don't budge, or I'll shoot to kill.
Well, what new development is taking place in our mystery now? Although they thought the mystery ship deserted, our friends found first the old man of the seaweed, and now another stranger. Who can this be? This is truly the most baffling riddle Superman has ever been up against. Why not match your wits with his and see if you can solve it before he does? Be sure to be with us tomorrow for another thrill-packed episode with plenty of puzzles and surprises. Listen, in fact, every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station. Tune in and follow The Adventures of Superman. And now, The Adventures of Superman. As you remember, Superman in his guise of Clark Kent and his companions in adventure are now trying to solve the weird riddle of the mystery ship, a tanker which rammed their own vessel in mid-Atlantic and which later they discovered to be deserted. Many adventures have befallen our friends aboard the derelict tanker, and in our last episode we heard how Superman saved Lois from the murderous hands of a strange little man known as the Old Man of the Seaweed, who had previously knocked Perry White unconscious. As our last episode ended, Clark Kent and Lois Lane were just leaving the engine room to go to Mr. White in the crew's quarters when suddenly... But wait, listen.
Don't move.
What the...
Throw up your hands. Don't move or I'll shoot to kill.
Clark, look. A man dressed in the naval flyer's uniform.
Who are you?
Lieutenant Saunders, United States Navy. Who are you? What are you doing down here?
For a moment there, I thought we'd got ourselves into more trouble.
I wouldn't be too sure you haven't. Who are you?
I think I'm just beginning to get this. Lieutenant, I'm Clark Kent, and this is Lois Lane.
Thank you.
If I'm not mistaken, we're the people you've come to rescue.
Oh, of course. My men and I just arrived in the patrol bomber. The rest of my crew are going over the ship now.
Oh.
Just what's been going on here? Who's that man lying
He's a
there?
madman. He was going to kill me.
It's a long story, Lieutenant, and I'm a little worried about another member of our party, Editor Perry White. He was struck down by this madman here and maybe badly hurt.
I see. Well, you'd better get to your friend at once. This fellow looks as if he won't be coming to for some time, I should say. Now, we'll come back from later. Come along, up these companionway stairs.
A short time later, in the captain's cabin, Lieutenant Saunders and the others listened to Clark Kent's story. When Kent is finished, Saunders sits silently for a time, studying the strange entry in the captain's log.
Slowly, an odd look comes over his face, and he shakes his head in puzzlement. Clark Kent speaks.
What is it, Lieutenant? Is something wrong?
I don't think it's anything, Clark, except Lieutenant Saunders finds this mystery as baffling as we do.
Boy, that entry in the captain's log where he says the old man of the seaweed is coming toward him laughing horribly. That sure makes your hair stand up.
Yes, I know all that. Fantastic, of course, but, well, it's nothing to what I'm going to tell you. You see, I know something you don't know. Something that further complicates the mystery.
Oh, golly. Could it be any more complicated than it is?
Yes, I'm afraid it can, Jimmy. Let me tell you what I mean. About 7 months ago, while on routine patrol, we picked up an SOS. We headed for the spot where the ship was going down. The radio signals became weaker and finally died away altogether. Last message we received was, "We are sinking fast. Hurry. Water rising in radio room." That was the last we heard. Well, we reached the spot given by the radio operator, and, well, there was no ship in sight. Evidently, she had gone down before we could get there.
Well, what's all that got to do with us, Lieutenant?
Well, just this, Mr. Kent. The ship that had apparently gone down was this very ship.
What?
Jeepers.
Oh, now, just a minute.
I know it sounds more than fantastic, but get this. The ship was named the Albatross, just like this one. She was a tanker, just like this one. And she was bound east for Liverpool, and so was this one, according to the ship's papers.
Well, even so, there's a chance there might be another ship by that name going to the same place.
Yeah, I thought of that. However, Kent, one thing cinches it. The captain's name was Brenner, Captain Robert Brenner. And that was the name of the captain of this vessel.
But golly, if this is the same ship, then there must be such things as ghost ships.
No, not necessarily, Jim. Lieutenant Saunders and his men didn't actually see the ship go down. They merely assumed she had.
Yeah, that's right, Kent. I don't believe in ghosts and such things myself, so I'm more than willing to believe that the ship did not go down. But, well, what happened to her in the meantime?
Well, the log certainly doesn't tell us.
Yeah, well, it's a mystery, all right, and simply has to be solved. My job is done, however. I'll leave some of my crew aboard until we can send a vessel out to escort this ship into port. You people will return to the naval base with me.
Well, what are you going to do about the old man of the seaweed, Lieutenant Saunders?
I really can't say, Jim. We've got him in irons, of course, and he does seem to be insane. Still, he's our only clue, our only live clue at any rate. Best thing to do is to take him back to the base and let my commanding officer decide what's to be done about him.
How will we get back to Metropolis from the naval base?
Oh, well, that's easy, Miss Lane. The Clipper makes the base a regular port of call. Matter of fact, I think I can get you back just in time to make the next Clipper. We'd better hurry, though.
Let's get going, then. Why so glum, Clark? You look as if you've lost your last friend.
I just can't help wishing we had solved the mystery of this ship before leaving it.
No, it would take Superman to solve this mystery, and you're no Superman.
No, I suppose not. Well, let's go.
Leaving the mystery ship in the fog-shrouded night, our friends board the Navy patrol bomber and soon reach the United States Naval Base. An hour later, they board the Clipper for Metropolis and are soon winging through sunlit skies bound west for the great city. So far as they know, the mystery of the Albatross, though unsolved, is at an end. Little do they realize it is only beginning, for as chance would have it. But wait, let's look in on our friends in the lounge of the Clipper.
What a wonderful, wonderful sight. Don't you think so, Clark?
What, Lois? I wasn't listening.
Look through the slanted windows. Look, that limitless expanse of blue-green ocean stretching as far as the eye can see.
Yes, I was sort of staring at it, thinking about the Albatross.
Gosh, Mr. Kent, I don't think there'll ever be an answer to that mystery.
Oh, yes, there will, Jim. There's never been a mystery yet that didn't have an answer. Usually, the more complicated the mystery, the simpler the answer.
I hope you're right. But I stick to what I said before. There's only one person who could solve this mystery, and that is Superman himself.
Down, block you! Down, I say!
Oh, who's this coming into the lounge?
It's a man, and golly, a Great Dane.
Great Dane? I didn't know dogs were permitted aboard planes.
Well, evidently this one was. Yeah, it looks as if he's someone of importance. As a matter of fact,
Golly, he's sure having trouble with that dog. What's that he's got around his neck?
that's what's known as a choke collar, Jim. When you pull on it, it chokes and subdues the dog. When used correctly, it's quite all right, but when used with the force he's using, no, it's very inhumane.
I wouldn't think a man who looks like that would maltreat an animal.
Oh.
He looks quite distinguished, really. Short beard and monocle and very, very British.
Down to Cordelia! You as you're told! All right, you're asking for this.
Clark! Look, he's strangling that animal. Well, don't sit there. Do something.
I don't like you to say, Lois.
Oh,
Devil take you, you blasted hound!
Clark Kent, when you get a backbone, let me know.
But, Lois...
All right, if you won't do anything about it, I will. Just a moment, there. What in the world do you think you're doing to that animal?
I beg your
I've
pardon?
never seen a dog so mistreated in my life.
If your understanding of this animal, madam, was a tenth as great as your anger, I believe you speak in a different tone.
Oh, you do? Really?
That, madam, is a static remark which admits of no argument. Last you, Cordelia! Stop trying to pull everything else out of its socket!
Down, I say, down.
Stop it, do you hear? Now stop it. You're choking that dog to death.
Madam, this dog is a Great Dane. She weighs 150 pounds. She's a very well-behaved beast on most occasions, but now and then she must be handled this way.
No dog need be handled that way if its master knows his business.
Oh, madam, you...
Oh, stop calling me madam. My name is Lane, Miss Lois Lane.
Oh, the reporter female, what?
Yes, and I... Wait a minute. How did you know that?
I should say every passenger aboard knows of your adventure with the mystery ship.
What's that? You mean to say that story is known to everyone aboard this plane?
I don't believe we've been properly introduced, young man.
Oh, my name is Clark Kent.
Oh, yes, of course, the reporter chap, that's right. Devilishly pleased to meet you.
You know, for a moment I thought you were... Well, that is...
Yes?
Nothing. Nothing at all.
May I present myself? My name is Tresida. Sir Alfred Kenneth Tresida, Lord of Michaelsfield.
Why, of course, I've heard of you. Aren't you the man who's noted for his kennels?
I breed Great Danes, Miss Lane, and I pride myself on knowing how to treat them. Your criticism of my treatment of Cordelia distresses me no end. I assure you I have no intention of being inhumane, but really, with such as you just witnessed, there's nothing for it, you know. One is forced to adopt strict measures.
Well, I wouldn't think of criticizing anyone who knows as much about dogs as you do, Sir Alfred, but it's just that I've always
Oh, yes,
heard...
yes, I know, but quite erroneous, I assure you, quite. Down, Master Cordelia, down!
Oh, please don't.
Please, Miss Lane, I know what I'm
I
doing.
know you do, but the poor animal...
Does no harm, believe me. Well, I dare say you'll have an interesting story for your paper when we reach Metropolis. The mystery ship, I mean.
Oh, no, we've been asked not to release it.
Oh, why not?
The effect on the morale of seamen, especially those who work on tankers. Sailors are superstitious, you know. Not all, that is, but many.
Oh, nonsense, my girl, utter nonsense.
Well, in any case, Sir Alfred, we won't print the story.
Well, that's your own affair, of course. Well, I'd better take Cordelia to my cabin, I suppose. It was only by the greatest luck in the exercising a good deal of influence that I was permitted to bring her with me. Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, Sir Alfred's an awfully charming person, even if he does... Clark, what is the matter with you? Hey, Clark.
Mr. Kent, why are you looking after Sir Alfred that way?
That man is not Sir Alfred Tresida.
What?
What?
I met Sir Alfred years ago when he was in America. I was a cub reporter then. He came here to lecture on the training of dogs, especially Great Danes. That man is not Sir Alfred Tresida.
But how can you be so sure?
Oh, well, Sir Alfred had a friendly, kindly face. This man's face? Oh, no, it's not the same. And then there's the dog. He brought the same Dane with him. Cordelia was her name, and she worshipped the ground he walked on. All his dogs loved him and answered his command without question. And he certainly never maltreated them the way that man did.
But if he's not Sir Kenneth Tresida, who is he?
Yeah. And where's the real Sir Alfred?
Two very interesting questions. Something tells me we'd better answer them, and answer them quick.
Little do our friends know that in this man with the Great Dane, they will find the answer to the weird riddle of the mystery ship. Who is this bearded, monocled man who pretends to be Sir Alfred Kenneth Tresida? And what connection has he with the mystery ship? Well, for the solution to the entire mystery, be sure to listen tomorrow. And be with us every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station. Tune in and follow The Adventures of Superman. And now, The Adventures of Superman. As you remember, Clark Kent, Lois Lane, Perry White, and Jimmy Olsen had been aboard a mysterious tanker which they had found running in mid-Atlantic with no crew, absolutely deserted, except for the body of her dead captain. Later, after some hair-raising adventures on the ship, during which Mr. White suffered a severe cut on his head, they were rescued by a Navy patrol bomber. As our last episode ended, our friends were on their way back to Metropolis in a clipper. While discussing the still unsolved mystery of the deserted tanker, their attention was attracted by a bearded, monocled Englishman who was mistreating his dog, a Great Dane. When Lois interfered, they learned that the man was Sir Alfred Kenneth Tresida, a famous breeder of Great Danes. As Sir Alfred left to take his dog to his cabin, Kent, looking after him with a quizzical expression on his face, said,
That man is not Sir Alfred Tresida.
What?
What?
How do you know?
I met Sir Alfred years ago when he was in America. I was a cub reporter then. He came here to lecture on the training of dogs, especially the Great Dane. That man is not Sir Alfred Tresida.
But how can you be sure, Mr. Kent?
Well, Sir Alfred had a kindly face, Jim. This man's face, well, it's not the same. And then there's the dog. He brought the same Dane with him. Cordelia was her name. And she worshipped the ground he walked on. Matter of fact, he was his prized pupil and obeyed his every instruction. He certainly never maltreated her the way that man
But if
did.
he's not Sir Alfred Kenneth Cressida, who is he?
Yeah, and where's the real Sir Alfred?
Two very interesting questions, and something tells me we better answer them and answer them quick.
Clark, if that man isn't Sir Alfred Cressida, then I think we'd better go to him at once and demand to know who he is.
No, not so fast, Lois. That wouldn't get us anywhere. Let's watch him and keep an eye on him. Chances are he'll betray himself before we reach Metropolis.
But you say that you know he's not Sir Alfred.
Yes, I know he's not Sir Alfred, but what I want to know is why he's masquerading as Sir Alfred.
Golly, Mr. Kent, what do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, we mustn't betray ourselves to him. Whoever he is, he's assuming the identity of someone else, and whoever does that is up to trouble. We've got to find out what sort of trouble he's up to before we tip our hand.
I don't see that, Clark. I don't see it at all.
Why?
If he's trying to palm himself off as someone else, I think we ought to confront him with the fact that we know about it. Just because you haven't the courage to go to him.
Oh, now, please, Lois, it's not that. I just think it's best to wait, that's all.
Golly, Mr. Kent, what do you think he's up to?
I don't know, Jim. Not yet, at any rate.
Of course you don't know, and you'll never find out if you don't go to that man and confront him with the facts.
Oh, look, Lois, we're 6 hours away from Metropolis. I guarantee we'll find out all about that phony by the time we reach the airport.
All right, Mr. Kent, we'll see. We'll just wait and see.
But Lois does not wait to see. The more she thinks about it, the more convinced she becomes that the fake Sir Alfred Cressida must be confronted with the fact that his impersonation has been discovered. Finally, convinced, she determines to take matters in her own hands.
Excuse me, I think I'll go to Mr. White's stateroom and see how he feels. Maybe the dressing on his head needs to change.
Of course, Lois, that's a good idea. Go ahead.
But Lois does not go to Editor White's stateroom. Instead, she goes to the one occupied by Sir Alfred. She knocks at the door.
Yes?
I'd like to see you for a moment, Sir Alfred.
Yes? Oh, it's you, Miss Lane. Still concerned, are you, over my treatment of the dog?
Well, yes, I'd like to come in and talk to you about that.
Oh, yes, of course. Do come in.
Thank you.
Well, Miss Lane, fire away. I'll try to answer any questions you may ask.
Very well. Maybe you can answer this one. Why are you masquerading as Sir Alfred Cressida?
I beg your pardon?
I happen to know that you are not Sir Alfred Cressida. Who are you, really?
Miss Lane, I've had enough trouble from you for one day. I'm afraid I must ask you to leave.
Sorry, I'm not leaving till I find out who you are and what you're up to.
I see. Determined young woman, aren't you?
I usually get what I go after.
Oh, sometimes, Miss Lane, one gets a little more than one goes after.
Why are you locking that door?
Since you are so determined to stay, I am making certain that you do not leave.
Now, look here, Sir Alfred. This is becoming ridiculous. I insist.
Do you see anything ridiculous about this?
You've got a gun in your hand. A small automatic.
Yes, and it's equipped with a silencer. Sit down, Miss Lane. You and I are going to have a little talk, and not about dogs. Sit down, Miss Lane. There, that's excellent. Now then, where did you get the notion that I am not Sir Alfred Cressida? It would be best to tell me, Miss Lane.
I suppose I have no choice. I didn't discover it myself. Mr. Kent did. Your actions with the dog aroused his suspicions. Not only that, he happens to know Sir Alfred personally.
It would be better to say that he knew Sir Alfred.
What?
Sir Alfred Cressida is dead.
Dead?
Yes, I killed him.
But why? What for?
So that I could impersonate him. Very simple, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, it is. But why are you impersonating him?
I'd rather not answer that. Matter of fact, Miss Lane, I've wasted just about enough time with you, I think. You know too much, I'm afraid. And I'm going to have to shoot you right now.
Drop that gun.
Oh!
Superman! Where did you come from?
Don't ask questions. Go back to the lounge. I'll take care of this faker.
But I don't
For
understand.
once, Miss Lane, do as you're told. Clark Kent warned you not to come here. You might have heeded that warning.
But I still
Go
can't...
back to the lounge. Jimmy Olsen is there. Stay with him.
Where's Clark Kent?
He's in his stateroom taking a nap. Now go.
Yes. Yes, of course.
Now then, I'd better close this door. Pretty much of a wreck, but if I wedge a chair against it, it'll hold it closed and give me the privacy I need. There we are. Oh, a friend is coming round. Well, since Lois has messed this up, I might just as well end it the simple way.
What hit me?
I did.
Oh, who are you? Where'd you get that fancy rig you're wearing?
I'll ask the questions. You're not really Sir Alfred Cressida. I know that definitely since I was listening at the door. I also heard you say you had killed him. Why?
I'll never answer that.
No?
Go on, hit me again. Do your worst. I'll never talk.
Oh, well, we'll see.
Go away, put me down. Put me down.
Cover your face with my cape. There's no need cutting it.
Cut my face, what?
Yes, we're going through that window since there's no way of opening it. Out! Out!
God, it's all of a talking. Put me down. Put me down. What am I saying?
Let go of me, please, I beg of you.
Let's talk. Why did you kill Sir Alfred Reseda? Why are you masquerading as Sir Alfred? The whole story, out with it.
No, I can't tell you that.
You can and you will.
No, it's impossible, I tell you.
Sure?
I'm sure.
Then I bid you goodbye. I'm going to drop you. Happy landing. Down. There, I'm right beside you. Talk and I'll catch you in my arms. Refuse and I'll let you fall into the ocean.
No, go easy. Only catch me. Catch me.
There, got you.
Oh, thank heaven.
All right, back to your cabin in the plane. Now then, start talking and fast.
My name is Willy von Beckmaster. I am a German agent.
What? What's your accent, your mannerisms?
As a youth, 12 years ago, I was sent to Oxford to study. In preparation for this work I was to do for our Führer. I was brought up as an Englishman, trained to speak, act, even to think like an Englishman.
See, go on.
An agent was needed in America to carry out the minute details of the new war of nerves. We are beginning against the American Merchant Marine.
Wait a minute. American Merchant Marine. Did you by any chance have anything to do with the Albatross incident? The mysterious deserted tanker found in mid-Atlantic?
Yes. My men engineered the whole affair.
Go on, tell me more. How was it accomplished?
No, I've said too much.
Keep on talking or out that window we go again.
No, wait, all right. I'll go off. Submarines captured that tanker and took off her crew. We forced the radio operator to send a message for help, pretending that the ship was sinking.
I see.
Then we quickly left the spot, taking the tanker with us under full steam. We kept her hidden until we were ready to start our mystery.
I think I get it. Some days ago, you sent that tanker out into the high seas with no one aboard but the old man of the seaweed. Then he wasn't really crazy.
Of course not. He, too, is an agent, trained to perform his task expertly. It was his job to further mystify those who came across the ship.
Now I see how all this ties in with your so-called war of nerves. Haunted ships, ships returned from the grave, ships running without crews, dead captains reappearing at dinner tables. All part of a plan to terrorize the sailors of the American Merchant Marine.
Yes, that's exactly what we planned.
Well, I'll say one thing. I'm afraid you don't know the American Merchant Marine. Your trick was a good one, but I'm afraid it would certainly have fizzled.
I don't think so. We Germans are never wrong.
Oh, tell that to the Russians. Well, all right. Get on with it. How and why did you impersonate Treseda?
Well, it was done to get one of our agents into America. We knew Treseda was coming to America. Because I looked something like Treseda, it was arranged that I should make myself up to look as much like him as possible, kill him, and take his place in the plane. I carried out my assignment to the letter.
So it seems.
Evidently, the dog, which of course I was forced to bring with me, gave me away. Well, now that you know the entire story, what are you going to do?
What am I going to do? Just this.
Go!
Now, resume my disguise of Clark Kent and turn this Nazi over to the captain. I think he might be called Superman's New Year contribution to the war effort.
And so ends another thrilling and baffling Superman mystery. A brand new series of Superman adventures begins on Monday, same time, same station. So be sure to listen in every day, Monday through Friday. Tune in and follow the adventures of Superman.
Yes, don't fail to join us again on Monday for the beginning of a new and exciting Superman story. And don't forget that tomorrow, New Year's Day, there will be no Superman program on the air because Superman and his friends have given up their airtime so that you may listen to the thrilling Cotton Bowl game between Georgia Tech and Texas University on the Mutual Network and the station to which you're now listening. So be with us at the kickoff of the Cotton Bowl game tomorrow. And then tune in the adventures of Superman again on this station at this same time on Monday. Meanwhile, Superman, Lois Lane, Editor White, Jimmy Olsen, and yours truly wish for you a very, very happy and prosperous New Year. And we hope that when another New Year rolls around, the war will be over and the world will be at peace. So long now until next year.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Follow the adventures of Superman every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station. Superman is directed by George Lothar and is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine. This is Mutual.